Welcome back, Lions. We're excited to welcome you to the 15-16 school year. As you may know, there are a few new faces here on your War Hill administrative team. Dr. Carroll is still our fearless leader as our principal of War Hill High School, and I'm still fortunate to serve as your assistant principal, Dr. Syak, and we're joined this year by Mr. Throop, who was your SOL guy last year. He's now your assistant principal. Miss Holthouse is joining us as our school improvement specialist, and Miss Simon is joining us as our student advancement coach. However, all 5 of us are here to help you make this the best year ever. As we go through, you will see that this presentation is designed to review the expectations that we have of you, but it is still your responsibility to review your student code of conduct and your student handbook. Some brief expectations to review regarding our assemblies and pep rallies. Remember that you will sit with your class when we have these events. Just as we know you already are, we ask you to be respectful of other students, other classes, and any guests that we may have joining us. You're going to participate appropriately. Don't boo. We're here to support each other. As you'll see in your student code of conduct, there are automatic consequences for some behaviors outlined by the state. It's important for you to understand all of the consequences for your actions, but specifically drugs, any type of smoking paraphernalia, including electronic and vapor devices, any type of fighting, all knives, weapons, and facsimiles, things that look like weapons. None of this will be tolerated.
For your attendance pride, it is key to your success that you are here in school every day. However, there might be times where you are absent. If you are absent, you need to provide a written excuse note from your parent within 24 hours. If you have a planned absence in advance, you need to make sure you write a note in advance and turn it in to Ms. Paul for that. In addition to notes, you may also email Ms. Paul or you may fax Ms. Paul. Both are accepted forms of communication to report your absence. Parents may not excuse more than 3 consecutive absences. A doctor's note or some other extenuating circumstances do apply. However, notes need to be turned in from the doctor or the person who is excusing you for that other circumstance. If you miss 5 unexcused days of school, you will be referred to one of our attendance meetings. You do not want to have to attend an attendance meeting. At that attendance meeting, you will go over other forms of consequences if you do not come to school, which might be an attendance contract or a referral to a truancy officer or having to go stand before a judge in Williamsburg explaining why you are absent. In addition to our attendance policy, we also have a tardy policy. Additionally, part of your success here at War Hill is going to be dictated by your attending class on time and attending school on time. If you are tardy, the first offense will be a student conference. If you are tardy a second time, a parent contact will be made. Third tardy will result in a classroom consequence, and that classroom consequence might be after-school detention, lunch detention, or any other consequence the teacher or administrator might have for you that falls within the student code of conduct as a consequence that you can receive. Fourth or subsequent tardies will be referred to an administrator.
And let's talk about those hallways. Let's keep it classy, War Hill. Don't be using profanity or inappropriate language as you're walking through the hallway. Don't block the stairs or passageways. If you want to stop and have a conversation, move off to the side of the hallway, but don't be late to class. And please, above all, you need to keep the hallways clean. If you haven't met the amazing Mr. C and Miss Connie yet, they work so hard to help all of us here at War Hill High School. So let's make their job as easy as possible and keep our hallways neat and clean. That same thing goes for our student center. Whether you're eating breakfast in the morning, you're eating lunch, or you're having something after school while you're here for an activity, please be sure to clean up after yourself. And be a good citizen. If you see that somebody else left a mess behind, help our custodial staff out and clean that mess up. Do not take your food out of the cafeteria unless you have permission by your teacher. It just helps to keep our entire facility clean. Stay seated during lunchtime. If you need to move to go to another table, go back to the lunch line, that's cool, but just don't clog up the walkways. There are lots of us and we need to keep it as orderly as possible. Please respect the lines when you go through, whether it's taco day, nacho day, salad bar day. Respect the lines, keep it moving so that we can all eat lunch in the time that we have allotted. And above all, for everyone's safety, no horse playing. We're all here to enjoy ourselves, to learn, to get a great education, but we don't need to cause anybody the chance of harm.
We also have the expectation here at War Hill that there is no bullying that will take place. Bullying can be considered negative behaviors that frighten and or cause harm that targets a specific student, physical intimidation, starting rumors, name-calling, taunting. Bullying can be based on race, gender, physical abilities, disability, religion, or characteristics associated with the targeted person. It can happen face-to-face, texting, social media, or through other forms of communication. Pride, there is no bullying here at War Hill High School. And as a reminder, if you see bullying occurring, please tell your teacher or come talk to one of your administrators about what you are seeing or witnessing. Our War Hill dress code is as follows. There's no sagging pants. Keep your pants up. If you can't keep them up, we are happy to provide a belt for you. No headgear, hats, bandanas, headbands, head wraps, or do-rags are permitted. They must be taken off as you enter the building. If you continue to wear them in the building, they will be taken from you. No clothing that promotes alcohol, illegal substances, and or weapons is permitted. No pajamas or pajama slippers are permitted. Longer than fingertip length shorts and also skirts or dresses. A minimum 3-finger width shoulder straps. Spaghetti straps are not permitted. No exposed midsection for your shirts. Please wear appropriate clothing to school. As Dr. Sayak likes to say, if you don't want to see it on us, we don't want to see it on you. If for some reason you come to school violating our dress code, you will be placed in ACES until our clothing violation has been corrected.
Lions, we are fortunate enough to have a BYOD, or Bring Your Own Device, policy here at War Hill High School. Those of you who were with us last year may remember this policy, but in your opening day packet, you have the BYOD program agreement information. Each year, you must review and sign this agreement, as must your parent or guardian, to grant you permission to use this privilege. Please remember, it is a privilege to use these devices during instructional time. Be sure that you read this agreement, as all policies and procedures will apply to use of your cell phones and your electronic devices. Regarding your cell phone, you certainly can use that cell phone before school, but once that bell rings, it needs to be out of sight and out of mind unless your teachers authorize you to use it for your instructional time. In the hallways, in the cafeteria, it's certainly okay for you to use your device, but again, when you return to class, it's time for you to resume instruction. And of course, after dismissal, if you're here for an activity, you're working with a teacher, you're here for a sport, here for rehearsal, you certainly can use your device at that time. But just remember, be respectful of those around you when using that device. Now, of course, if you're using your cell phone or any other type of electronic device during instructional time and you don't have the permission of your instructor, there certainly will be consequences. The first offense is going to be that your teacher is going to issue a warning. The second time, your teacher's probably going to keep that phone or device until the end of class. They will give it back to you, but it is our expectation that if you have violated the policy, that you surrender that device. Don't make it worse and add additional consequences. If you get to a third time in class where you're using your cell phone when you're not supposed to be, you're going to see that the teacher's going to collect that device and provide it either to myself or to Mr. Throop, and we will save it until the end of the day. Finally, if you get to a fourth time because you just had to use that device during classroom instruction, we're going to hold that device until somebody from your family comes to pick it up, either your parent or guardian. I will tell you, I've seen parents and guardians leave that device with us until the end of the semester, and that's completely their call, so make good choices.
Do you need a locker? Well, if you do, you need to see security, and they will assign you your locker. Do not share your locker combination. Security is there if you lose your locker combination. No permanent stickers or other markings are allowed in your locker. Your lockers are school property, and as such, they are subject to search. You need to treat them with respect. Slamming, kicking, punching, stuffing, these are all behaviors that should not occur with your lockers. What about your personal items? Lost or stolen personal property is not a responsibility of Williamsburg-James City County Public Schools or War Hill High School. So, you have your electronic devices. Make sure they are secured. It is a good policy not to let other students borrow your devices, so that way you can make sure that it is on your person at all time. You need to secure your valuables. Locker room, gym, class, lunch. Make sure you can always hold on to your valuables or they are in your sight. If you happen to bring cash, an iPod, your cell phone, wallet, or other valuables in your gym locker during PE, please remember you must keep your gym locker locked with the lock that is provided by your PE teacher or if you've brought one in. Parking. If you're fortunate enough to have a driver's license here at War Hill High School and you have a vehicle in which you can drive, priority is given to seniors, working students, and students from the School of Arts and New Horizons students. An application is online, but you can also pick up an application from Miss White in the assistant principal's office. Now, let us remind you, parking is not a right. It is a privilege and can be taken away due to any attendance and discipline referrals. Let me say that again, seniors. It's a privilege. Your vehicle is subject to searches. Pills, knives, weapons, drugs, smoking paraphernalia, etc. All things that are in the Student Code of Conduct, they should not be in your vehicle. Illegally parked vehicles are subject to towing. That means if you park your vehicle and you don't have a pass and you have been repeatedly reminded that you need to have a parking pass and you continue to park here, your vehicle might get towed by Tomater.
Thank you, Lions, for listening to these important expectations today. But we also want you to know that we want to hear from you. We're here to help you and guide you through this school year. Plus, we just like interacting with each of you on a daily basis. So please, our doors are always open. Come, ask us your questions, share your concerns, share the exciting things that are going on with your lives, or just stop by to say hello. You can also follow us on Twitter. War Hill High School and almost all of our clubs and activities have their own Twitter handles, and it's a great way to get information. Dr. Carroll, myself, and Mr. Throop are all available on Twitter, so please don't hesitate to use that electronic platform to interact with us in addition to interacting in person. We know it's going to be a great year, so Lions, make it the best you've had.
Roll Pride!